Morning, everyone. It is just after 10, so we are going to go ahead and get started this morning. We may have a few more individuals jump on to see our webinar today. I am Michelle Ondak. I am with the Oklahoma Manufacturing Alliance, and I am your resource for all things related to the Connex Oklahoma platform. Connex Oklahoma is part of a partnership with the Oklahoma Manufacturing Alliance, the Oklahoma Department of Commerce, and the MEP National Network. We've partnered to provide this resource to you at no cost. It's a supply chain tool to help Oklahoma companies better connect, be discovered, and increase business opportunities. Today, we are joined by Alan Davis. Alan is a founding member and the CEO of i5 Services. i5 is the company that has developed the Connex Marketplace and the National Marketplace. He's been helping companies improve their bottom line results for over 25 years and has kindly offered to join us today to share some of his expertise around manufacturing companies and capability statements. I think he is going to share a presentation and some resources with you. We'll send out materials after this webinar today. So Alan, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Great. Thanks, Michelle. Appreciate it. And for everyone who's on today, please feel free to ask questions at any time. This will be a fairly informal discussion, and I will present a fair amount of information, but please, let's make sure that as we go through, we do Q&A. You can also, if you prefer not to interrupt, go ahead and drop them into the chat. Those will go to Michelle, and she'll make sure that, that we address them as well. So today, we're really wanting to discuss a little bit more about capability statements. What is a capability statement? Why do we use it? What's the value of it? How do you create one? All those kinds of questions. And hopefully by the time we finish our tutorial today, you'll have a good understanding of why the capability statement is important, but more importantly, what are some additional ways in which you can use that to your benefit? And specifically, we'll show you how to leverage that in the Connex platform to make sure that you're getting connections to actual opportunities with prime contractors, government contractors, other large organizations, and we'll show you how that works. So to get started, well, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. And hopefully, if all goes well here, you are seeing a presentation deck. Michelle, we have that okay?
Yep, looks good, Alan.
Terrific. Okay, we'll jump in then. As Michelle mentioned, actually, this is a wonderful alliance between OMA and ODOC and the Connex Oklahoma platform, which is your resource really as manufacturers in the state of Oklahoma to better connect to the manufacturing ecosystem. Today, we're talking specifically about what a capability statement is and how to use it. I actually took a couple of quotes that I thought were very good about what a capability statement is. One is from, the first one here is from the SBA, and they basically describe it as just a concise one-page document of your business competencies. So think of it as your business's resume. Its purpose is to provide specific information that will convince potential customers to do business with you. When written well, it will differentiate your business from the competition. That's a really good way of understanding the capability statement. There are other ways of thinking about it and a few other things that it does. Another definition there is from LinkedIn. I'll let you go ahead and read that at your disposal, but it's really intended to be something which is a very quick descriptor of your business that also sets you apart from others. And that's the primary definition of a capability statement. And then how it's used, we'll get into in just a moment. So why is it important? Capability statements are actually used by government, by prime contractors, large companies, and others all over the country to get their, if you will, snapshot of what a company is, what they do, how they do it. It's a great way for you to give a quick introduction to your company and also to leave a good first impression if you do it well. It is definitely a valuable resource. It helps other people understand your capabilities and be able to engage with you in a more meaningful way. So how do we create one? Capability worksheet contains a lot of key information, and these are key pieces of information that particularly government entities will be looking for, prime contractors will be looking for as they look at a capability statement. And I'll give you a worksheet in just a moment. We'll go through that worksheet. I'll show you what that looks like, and it has all this information on it. I know Michelle will make sure that she shares that with you after the fact as well. And I'll also show you a place where you can go and grab it for yourself inside of Connex. So we'll jump over to Connex in just a moment as we kind of go through that part. But how can you use it? You can use it as an introductory document, but you can also use it as a leave behind. It's a great discussion document if you're having if you have an opportunity to have a discussion with a buyer or someone who has an interest in your business. It's a great way for you to be able to highlight some of those key capabilities that you have as a company. It's a great piece to have for people to be able to download off of your website, and an important piece for you to upload to Connex. And I'll show you that in just a moment and talk about why that's so important. In fact, instead of going through this, I'm actually going to exit our presentation and go straight into Connex, and so I can show this to you. When you log into Connex, and so I won't go through the login process just to make sure that we have enough time to go through the presentation today. But once you've logged in, this is roughly what you see. Over here on the right, you'll have a link to your administration. So my company link will be there. I'm actually going to go to the demo account here in Oklahoma. There is one demo account. It's called Prime One. So if you're searching and you see Prime One, just know that that's a demo account used in Oklahoma for a number of purposes. And I'm actually going to upload the capability statement to this profile so you can see how you'll do it for your organization as well. Now, there are two places in your profile where a capability statement is visible. The first one here is in the public section, or publicly available data section. And there's a link here that says update capability statements that will take you to the upload page. The other place that it could be found is in the member only information. So you'll just need to decide if you want your capability statement to be seen by everyone or just by those who are members of Connex. If you do member only area, it's right down here. Again, same link to update your capability statement. When you come over, you'll just see this little plus symbol here and the statement, or the link that says create new capability statement. When you click on that, it opens up this window here, and you'll see right now it's selected as members only. I'm actually going to change it back to public because we want this document to be available and visible to everyone. We are going to go ahead. Well, in fact, I'm going to come and find the document I want to upload. In this case, it's a capability statement worksheet sample. And when I click on that, you'll notice it just uploads. It automatically will put the name in the description. I can change that if I don't like it and name it something different. I'm going to leave it for the time being. And then when you hit save, what's happening is not only is it being saved in the solution, but it's also being indexed in the search. So now when someone comes up here and searches, every word that was in your capability statement is now searchable through this main search bar in the application, which is a really amazing feature because if, for example, you don't find a place to add certain keywords or information about your company that you hope people will search and find you on, this is the way to do it. Make sure it's in your capability statement, and then when they search, those keywords will bring up your company profile because those keywords were found in your capability statement. So I'm going to go ahead and open this down. Well, actually, let me come back to the profile itself so I can show you what it looks like in the profile. So now that it's uploaded, you'll see that here it is in the capability statement. Here's the link to it. I'll go ahead and click on it here so we can see. Now, this capability statement worksheet, you'll notice all that information that I had on the spreadsheet is now here just as kind of check boxes. And this is a great worksheet to use to make sure that you kind of go through and include the main elements that are being looked for by large corporations and government entities. This worksheet actually was created by the SBA. This is not my own worksheet. I'm turning you to resources that are publicly available to you as well, in other sources. So you may find this in other places as well. And you'll see actually Eastern Washington PTAC was the one who initially published this one. So here, as you go through, you'll see different, all those different sections that were mentioned, but there are also a nice list of nice to have elements here as well. The nice to have elements include, maybe your business background or history, but make sure you're brief, because you want to keep this document, if possible, to under 2 pages. So you want it to be fairly concise, but also not too wordy. And I'll show you some examples here in just a moment and why that's so important. So also any special accreditations or awards and customer testimonials, those things are also nice to have. Here's the basic layout of a capability statement. And you'll see it's fairly concise, 1 page. In this case, a place for your logo, some of that key information, and the key areas of information about your company that would be important. And so for a couple of examples, so this one actually is a blank example. I'm not sure I love this one, by the way, but it is, it's definitely including all the information in it, and it does give a fairly decent layout. I just don't necessarily love the colors and background, but that's entirely up to you and what you feel is best for your company. This one happens to be 2 pages, and 2 pages is not necessarily bad. But I would definitely try to keep it within that 2-page limit. So a sample of capability statements that are good, or that, and these are actual ones that have been approved. Some of the information may have been changed, and some of but most of it is just as it was originally created. So here's one. It's very concise. The only thing that I would be concerned about with this one is the print is a little bit small, and certainly on my screen as you're viewing it through Zoom, I'm assuming it's very small for you, but it is still legible and readable. Here's another one that was approved. Again, a nice format layout, and it's an exception to the rule because it kind of is a little bit wordy in a few areas, but they also included, and this one goes beyond 2 pages. And so this is why it's an exception to the rule, but it was approved. So I'll give you the reasons why. In this case, what they're showing is their past performance with different government entities, which is an important decision point for if you're doing business actually with government or with prime contractors. And so in this case, it's a fairly long document, but it just highlights, it's still very concise for each past performance, but it highlights a number of their past performances. And again, that's an exception to the rule, and not necessarily the best way. Another exception to the rule is this United Consulting example. Again, much longer than 2 pages. But the reason is because they have a wealth of services that couldn't possibly fit on 2 pages. So again, if there is, but it's all very key to exactly what they do. And so they haven't gone over in wordiness, for example, in detail about their company, but more just about their capabilities. So as long as it is focused on the capability, there are some exceptions, and certainly some of these that have been approved that are exceptions to the rule are a good example of that. Here's some that were not approved. And when we say approved, all that means is the government entity that was reviewing them kicked them back basically and said, look, this isn't working. It's too wordy, or it doesn't work for some reason. In this case, this one says reduce to 1 page and remove the background. So you'll see how this is very wordy. No visual, no images, nothing that would break up the monotony of the straight text. So if you can avoid that, that would be great. This one was indicated as too wordy. Again, the font is very small, and they put a lot in there. I don't know that this one's necessarily as bad, but definitely the font is small, and I would have probably left it to 2 pages and kept the font a little bit larger, spread it out a little bit more would have been a little bit easier for those who are reading it. This one, again, they didn't like the background, and they encouraged the company to reduce it to a single page. So you see how it just bleeds over into the second page a small amount. In this case, they were hoping to get it onto one page and maybe reduce some of the other busyness toward the top. Here's some other ones that actually are good. So this one's a one page, but it also is a little bit small in the wording. And so that one's a little bit of a challenge for that purpose. Same with this one, got all the information on one page, but the font is pretty small. Oh, I'm sorry, no, this one is a two-page one. But the font is very small in order for them to get it on. So consolidating that information and trying to get it there, or if it's just an explanation of your capabilities and it can't fit on 2 pages, just make sure that it looks nice and is easy to read. So those are some great examples. You are welcome to download that at any time. If you go search out the Prime demo account, it's now uploaded there. And you can use that worksheet as a guide for how to build your capability statement. Just remember that when you upload it here into Connex, that every word inside of that capability statement is now searchable. In fact, let's just see if we can show how that works. I'm going to copy a word out of here. And there's Prime 1 demo that showed up, and it showed that it found the word in the attachment, which is a really nice way to be able to find your company when you have a specific keyword that might be different from everyone else. Great way of being able to be found. Okay, so, one other thing before I jump out of there. The reason that you really want to be found here, and if you have not had a chance to view this yet, definitely get into the Exchange Center and look at the needs section of the Exchange Center. These are real opportunities right now, and they're coming. A number of them are being offered through OMA, but you'll see this one actually is coming from Northrop Grumman, but OMA is actually posted it out there for you. And this is an active ongoing one. I pick on it because it's one I'm familiar with. But again, here's all the information about the post, what Northrop is looking for. It looks like this one expires August 31st, so there's not much time left. There's about a little over a month, I guess, left in this particular listing. But as you come in and you view this and you see that you might have the capabilities to deliver whatever it is in any of these listings, you have a button that will say that you can respond to the listing. And as you respond, then they will be able to see your company, your profile, and your capability statement to see that you actually have the capabilities to be able to deliver what it is they're looking for. And those are real opportunities for you. So that's another reason why the capability statement is so important, is because it's being used in the exchange section to be able to identify companies who have the capabilities. Also, when this is being created by the buyer, when they come into the distribution list and they're indicating who they would like to notify, if some information in your capability statement is found because it matches to whatever they're selecting in the distribution list. So let's say, for example, that they come in and say, okay, a company has to be working with ceramics. Then if the ceramics keyword is in your capability statement, you'll get notified about the opportunity because it matched to criteria that they selected in the distribution list. So super important to make sure that that information is updated on your profile and in your capability statement. It increases your chances of being found and being notified about opportunities that are in the system. Okay, any questions about that? Please jump in or send them to Michelle, and I'm going to switch back over to the PowerPoint. Okay. So we've gone through how to load the capability statement into Connex if you need it, and Michelle will share this document out afterward as well. But the steps are outlined right here from all the way from logging into Connex to where you hit save on saving that capability statement. So if you need to refer back to that, that should be a good guide for you. I forgot to switch back into presentation mode, so we'll switch back now. So benefits, and I hit most of these as we went through the Connex demo side, but it's so important that you make sure that those are in there, because it increases the likelihood of so many things, including you being notified and found about opportunities that businesses are posting out there in the Exchange Center. And just overall, it provides more information to interested parties. So who do you call if you have questions? Michelle, who's on the call today, is your primary contact for this. So if you don't have her contact information, please make sure that you jot it down. Her email address is here. It would likely be on your meeting invite as well. But phone number also, so you have lots of ways of being able to get a hold of her. You can reach out directly to OMA and they will put you in touch with her if for any reason you forget this information or don't have it recorded somewhere. And with that, what questions do you have?
Alan, we've got one question so far. If anyone else has additional questions on either writing your capability statement, what to include, or how to upload it, please put that in the chat right now. But the question we received was regarding whenever you're uploading into Connex, is there one reason a company would want to do it to members only whenever they upload it, or not to members only?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the reason that you would upload it to one place or the other is occasionally, particularly if you're doing maybe defense work or something that is a little more heavy on the security side, where you maybe don't want everyone in the public to be able to search and find everything that you do, but you definitely want the members to be able to find you. That would be one key reason why you might want to load it into the member only area. If you had any driving need as a business to really want to just restrict people's ability to search and find you through your capability statement, and you really wanted to limit that just to manufacturers, then that's the other reason you would want to put it in the member only section, because in here, really you just have manufacturers who are members and some education institutions and research people as well. But primarily it's just manufacturers. And so if you wanted to limit it just to that community, that's the other reason you might want to put it in the member only section instead of the public. If it goes in the public section, it can be literally searched by anyone. Anyone can actually get to the public area of the Connex Oklahoma site and be able to search. All they get is in the public area is just the ability to search what is in that initial blue section. In fact, let me just pull that up so that we go through that again real quick. So just the public information, and this is information that typically they would find on your website or someplace like that anyway. It's a basic description about you, maybe some contact information if you've chosen to include contact information or a key person for them to reach out to, your certifications, qualifications, NAICS, and SIC codes. And that's really all that's searchable from the public level, unless you add that capability statement, in which case that really expands what the keywords that people can use to search and find your company and your capabilities. So if you really do want to be found, it's an amazing way to be able to put in just about anything in the public area and to be searched and be found.
Thank you, Alan. Next question is all of this part of the free access to Connex, or do you have to purchase this additional access to capabilities?
No, great question. And no, this is all part of your access to Connex. There's no cost for Connex and to be a part of Connex Oklahoma. That cost is being borne by OMA and ODOC and OCAST, who are partnered on making sure that you have access to Connex in Oklahoma. And so make sure you use that resource, because it's an amazing resource that you have at your disposal. Now, the only part that is actually a paid area is, I'm not sure if you noticed when I ran my search,
Alan, you might want to share your screen again for this part.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to turn it back on, didn't I? Thank you very much. I'm going to share that one more time. Okay. Oh, I think am I off of the PowerPoint now? Hopefully that gets me back into where I need to be. Are you seeing Connex now?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So as you run the search, again, I didn't call attention to it previously in this demo, but there's this button that says expand search to the national marketplace. So if you are wanting to search nationally, there is actually a subscription for national search capability. It's about $500 a year. And it gives you access for a full year to do all the searching you want nationally and to be found nationally. So there's a tremendous value in doing that if you decide you want that access. But there is no cost to participate in the Oklahoma platform. It's only if you want national access that there's that $500 a year cost. So.
Thank you, Alan. Any additional questions in the chat? I have one follow-up question for you. Yeah. On the capability statement, whenever we were looking at the Exchange Center, I noticed that you had whenever we were displaying how you'll get notifications from the Exchange Center with postings if, say, someone's looking for ceramics and that is something that you have loaded in your capability statement. How will they receive notifications from that?
Great question. So when those notifications go out, they actually go out through email. So you get an email from the Connex Oklahoma system that notifies you about an opportunity in the Exchange Center. And it'll have a link in there that you click on that will take you to the Connex Oklahoma site, have you log in, and it'll take you to the Exchange Center. So that's a really important step because you want to receive those notifications when they come out. And the system gets more and more intelligent the more information it has. So that capability statement is so important because it gives it a whole lot more information that it can use to match to find that you are capable of delivering against the posts that are being posted in the Exchange Center. So if for any reason you're not receiving a notification on that, please let Michelle know. And we'll sort out any reasons why that might be happening. If you feel like there are opportunities in there that you are capable of that maybe you were not notified of. And it could be that they were possibly put in prior to your updated profile or something along those lines, but we can certainly sort through any of those issues and make sure that you are getting notified about those opportunities.
Okay, we have an additional question in the chat. Is there a way to have a direct link to the desktop for Connex?
On your desktop, can you put a link in?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, you can always you can put a link in on your desktop to oklahomamfgconnex.com, and that's the best way to do that, is to just create a link if you want that, or you can save it in your browser as a favorite, and that's probably the best way or the easiest way to be able to do this. You add the page to your favorite, so I'm going to click on that. And you'll see it says Connex here, and it's on my favorites bar. So when I click done, then it will add it to my favorites bar. And so that way, anytime I'm looking for my favorites, then I have the link directly to Connex, which it would be here. So I'll go there, and that'll take me directly to the site. So hopefully that answers the question.
I think it did. I am putting in the chat a link to the page on our website where we put all of our tutorial videos that we have done with i5 and throughout since launching Connex Oklahoma. This will be added to that page shortly. I will also be sending out any of the resources that Alan shared today to everyone that registered for the event over email. If you have any questions, you can contact me anytime. Probably the best email address is just going to be connex@okalliance.com. I'm putting that in the chat as well. And if there are no other questions, I'll give you a little bit of time back. We actually just got one more question. When was Connex created? This is a good one.
Oh, this is a good one. So, by the way, and this is something that most people probably have not been aware of, but we've been working on building the first U.S. manufacturing supply chain connection solution for almost 10 years now. It started with a small project in the state of Utah, which was a result of an economic development study that was performed in Utah to try to figure out ways to improve the economic sector of the economy. And one of the top recommendations that came out of that study was that we needed to create what was called back then a virtual industrial park, which was just really this ability to better connect our manufacturers with the thought and the goal of, if our large manufacturers could find suppliers in the state first, then that would keep more jobs and more dollars in the state. It would help our small and medium-sized businesses and boost the overall economy of manufacturing economy in the state. So the Department of, the Governor's Office of Economic Development, Department of Education, Department of Workforce Services that actually put the initial money in to start that first platform here in the state. And it was very successful, including, in the first 4 months, we actually met with manufacturers from around the state. These were large, medium, and small size manufacturers. And at the end of the 4-month period, so we had been holding workshops every other week for 4 hours on a Friday. And we were so grateful. We had 30 to 40 manufacturers that participated consistently with us throughout that 4-month period. And one of the large manufacturers in the state had a $70 million contract that they were going to award outside of the state because their buyers had looked all over and they couldn't find a manufacturer in the state to do the work. And so we had built a prototype at that point. We ran the search, and 2 miles from their facility was the exact company that they needed. They just didn't know they existed. And so that was really what kind of turned all the lights on for everyone. And obviously that $70 million contract was awarded in the state, and that really got everyone excited. But that solution that we initially built, the National Association of Manufacturers approached us about turning that into the national solution, which we did. And so you find the national solution at manufacturersmarketplace.us, or your link inside of Connex will also take you to the same place. But that solution has about 140 to 150,000 US manufacturers in it. In Oklahoma, Michelle, how many do we have in Oklahoma in Connex right now?
We have about 300 so far. We preloaded 4,000 into the system, so you will find information on companies that we already had in our personal database at the Oklahoma Manufacturing Alliance, but there are active companies with active users, about 300 in the system right now.
Oh, fantastic. So, and Oklahoma just started in April. So this has been a really fast onboarding in Oklahoma. So you guys are doing fantastic. But yes, we brought together a lot of that data that we had nationally, together with a database that OMA had and data that ODOC had as well, combined all that together to create the database for Connex Oklahoma. So that's why you have thousands of manufacturers represented in there. And as Michelle mentioned, at least 300 have gone in and updated their profiles. So you have all that rich information that we're looking at on the profiles. If you haven't done that yet, I strongly encourage you to do so, because there's a tremendous value in doing that. So we continue to build the Connex platforms for they're both geographic in that we set them up for states or regions geographically, but we also set them up for sectors. So we just launched the advanced air mobility sector of Connex instance. So that services that entire sector across the United States. So all of them are connected into the national platform. So again, as you interact in your local environment and you have the need to be able to expand beyond that, that option is there for you, and those resources are there for you. You'll see all of this actually coming together a little bit later this year, and with a slight rebranding on it to Connex Marketplace that brings all those databases together in one place and is a little more seamless in your transition between them. So great question. Thank you for asking.
We also received a question from Catherine about where you go to update the profile and create the account. And so I will just say, I'm going to send another link in the chat to our website. That is okalliance.com/Connex-Oklahoma. If you go there, there is a big green button that says create an account. If you go in and fill out your information there, then I receive a request. We go through and we sort through each and every request to make sure it is truly a manufacturer. That way you all are not getting bombarded with any sales calls or anything like that for your information, so that only manufacturers have those accounts. Once I approve that, you'll get a notification that you can get in and log into your profile. We walked through in this video. If you have any questions about it, follow up with me and I can get with you personally and walk through how to go to your profile. Any of the buttons to edit the information will take you to the back side of your page where you can update any of your information there. Okay, it looks like somebody just sent a request right before the webinar. So after this, I will be checking that to see if it is up to date with the NAICS code. And if not, we will find a way to check that and make sure that you can get access to the system if you're a manufacturer.
You know, Michelle, that does bring one other thing to mind. If at any time you are in Connex and you feel like you're stuck, you need help, please reach out to Michelle. And there's also inside of the application, right next to the search bar, you'll find a little question mark. And if you hover over that question mark, you'll see resources for getting started, for what's new, and also a place to contact support if you feel like you're having a technical issue. So there's always help at your disposal, and please reach out and let us know anytime you need help with anything in the application.
Okay, with no further questions, I will go ahead and give us some time back in our day. And if you need anything else, please contact me, connex@okalliance.com. And I thank you all for joining us today. Thank you so much, Alan, for all of the information you shared with us.
Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. All right. Watch your emails for those resources. Thank you so much.
Take care.